Hello and welcome to Women Changing the World podcast. I'm your host, Olivia de Souza, and in this episode, I am talking to the lovely Sally Andrew. Welcome, Sally.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. And it sounds amazing being part of this Women Changing the World book that you have contributed to. So, can we start by maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So I am living in regional Queensland. I have a business. So I have a dance studio, vocational training centre, and retail outlet. Um, and very excited to contribute to this book and be a part of this amazing collaborative.
Wonderful. So, what is, can you tell us a little bit about what the story is that you share this book?
Yeah, so just some different ideas that I have found to be really helpful in growing my business and all the things that I find really important in my life. So um, there's just about raising the bar on life is basically what I'm talking about. So I love the idea of doing things bigger, better, smarter, faster. So I talk about like things like the power of 5 minutes and kindness, and um, there's just lots of exciting things I pack into this one small chapter.
So, all your toolkit and what has helped you in your life, is it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, with your business, so you teach dancing, is it? To
Correct.
right?
So we have a dance studio in a regional city in Queensland, and we have students from 18 months to over 80 years. So it's a lot of fun. We've just had our big concert for our end of year production, but it's always lots of fun to have these students learning dance. And we have a big studio with lots of different ways to include people. So we have toddlers, we have our over 55s, we have Parkinsons classes, we have vocational training. So we've got it all.
Parkinson's classes.
Yeah, so that's a fun adventure. So we have there's a project that the Queensland Ballet and Dance for Parkinson's Australia has brought out to Australia, and we were able to run a pilot program in Toowoomba some years ago, and it has become a weekly class that we have. So people who have Parkinson's diagnosis come and dance with us because they have found that dance the things that dancers work on are all the things that start to hinder a person who has Parkinson's. So those things sit nicely together. So dance and Parkinson's are beautiful match made in heaven, and we have lots of fun with those classes.
So, what's it like for someone with Parkinson's who obviously often has trouble controlling their bodies and stuff, and then they go
Yeah,
dance? Does it use
yeah.
part of the brain or something? Is that part of?
So there's lots of different things that they have found, but all the things that we work on in dance are like things like balance, our small motor skills, our big motor skills, our agility, our flexibility, our movement. But they've also found that the music and the friendship are all really beneficial in those classes. So it's a really holistic approach to benefiting the lives of those people who are dealing with that diagnosis.
When you mentioned about dance, first, and especially the wide range of ages and everything, I thought this is more than the dance itself. I thought there's so many other benefits to dance. And then you mentioned Parkinson's, and I thought that's even more of an overt way than I was even thinking. Um, what about like there's a lot of places that would teach children dance, which is wonderful. It gives them a great start, and there's a lot of things you could go into there, I'm sure. I'm interested how you came to do all the different age ranges because maybe not everyone does that.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we decided that we wanted to make sure that anybody who wanted to learn to dance was able to. So there are so many benefits to dance in life long term that we decided to be really an inclusive studio. So a lot of times there is a certain market for dance and it's only for the elite teenage girls or the small children, but we decided that we wanted to target anyone who wants to learn to dance. So there's been a big movement globally recently for the senior ladies who want to learn to dance. So I know that that started, I think, in the UK, that there was a lot of ladies who wanted to come back to dance because they didn't want to go to the gym. They wanted to get involved with dance. At a later age, they may have learnt dance as a child, or they may have just always wanted to. But that's really become a big thing over the last few years. And so we have lots of older ladies that learn to dance. So we have over 55s classes that meet 4 times a week. And we have ladies who just don't want to miss it. So they love this experience. It's so good for their bodies, but also for the social aspect, getting out of the house, the beautiful music. So there's just so many benefits for them as a group, but just everybody should be dancing. So the research is very conclusive.
Everyone should be dancing. It's official. I mean, what a way
Yeah.
to get your exercise with maybe not thinking about it so much as exercise, just living your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember being about 15 or 16 and already feeling like I was too old for stuff, seeing that all the people that took up something when they were 4 or 5 and mastered it. And I just think we have such, and while it's wonderful to do that, I just think we sometimes have we put such limitations on ourselves based on how many times we've been around the sun. Okay, did you want to share a little bit more about what was your message of the book that in the chat?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So I had my chapter was split up into different items, but I just wanted to talk about the fact that we have so much more potential than we give ourselves credit for. So I'm a big believer in that. You can do so much more with the time that you are given, and you have the ability to give that time power by what you give to it. So we can just let our time flit away from us and we can just let it go, or we can give each moment the power by doing all the things that we want to do and doing more. I just think there's so many 5 minutes that we just let slip by that we could be doing something with. I talk about the power of excellence. So it's not within our grasp to live a life of excellence and to give everything that we're doing just such meaning and purpose. So I know that's something that we really work on in our business, is just the power of excellence and making everything as good as it can be. We don't aim for perfection, because I think that sends the wrong message, especially to the demographic that we have in our studio. So we're not looking for perfection, but we're aiming for excellence and always lifting the bar on everything that we're doing. So every aspect of our business, we're really, really working hard on lifting that. So we also in the book, I talk about what things you've got in your hand. So that can be your experiences, that can be your skills, your jobs, your family, anything that you have in your sphere and your power that you can bring in. So bring all those little bits and pieces and create a really interesting and unique tapestry with your life. So taking all the little things that you've been through, all those, mix that with your skill set, mix that with your sphere of influence, mix that with the job that you're doing, and you have way more in your hands than you have ever thought about before or given yourself credit for. And if you take those things and mix that with excellence and instill that with the power of 5 minutes, like you've got this incredible life. I think sometimes we get caught up in the fact that we don't have as much as the next person, or we missed out on this opportunity. But what have we got? and how can we give it more power and live a bigger life. So that's the sort of things we talk about.
Wow, I love that. Can you tell me what you mean by the power of 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure. So um, we have way more time than we think. So there are so many moments in our life that can slip past us. So I even use the time doing my hair, doing my makeup, driving the kids to school, and I use those moments and see what can I do with those moments? How can I give them power? So it could be the power of connection with the kids in those moments, not just looking out the window and daydreaming, but being intentional with the little that I have and making it powerful. So I will use time by myself to be listening to podcasts, to be involved with webinars, to be learning, to be growing, to be in relationship. So I'm not going to waste the little time that I have, but every moment I have, I'm going to be really intentional with it and give it purpose.
Wow, that is powerful. What drives you to do what you do and create change?
Yeah, so I think I'm driven by excellence. So whatever I'm doing, whatever I have in my hand, whatever moment I have, I want to use that to the best of my ability and to make that the very best I can. So I am always stopping to look and see what I can do better. So with every moment, we take it and we can reflect. Okay, what worked well in that moment? What didn't? What was a waste? What can be done better? I am obsessed with excellence and doing better, being kind, and just giving my all in every moment.
And what feeling does that give you when you know that you're making a difference and living your life with this purpose?
That's a really good question. And I'm not sure that I can give it the proper answer that it requires, but I just know that I am absolutely driven to live that way. And if I do anything less, I'm feeling really disappointed and reviewing it and working out how I can do better the next time. So I'm not sure that there's any particular achievement that I'm getting from these things, just that I know that I have to live that way and I have to give my very best in all of those things.
You sound very driven. That sounds very passionate. What challenges have you faced along the way?
Yeah, so obviously owning a business and living through an arts business during a pandemic has shown lots of challenges our way. Um, but I have started to look at any challenges that have been thrown my way and turning them around and making them into um, something for me to overcome. So, for example, we had a business that we were in relationship with that was supplying our retail for our students, and they were supplying dance wear for our students. But we had a bit of a breakdown in communication, and they decided that they were no longer going to supply retail to our students, which at the time was a big deal because I had 500 to 600 students who didn't have dance shoes and leotards to wear. So it became a fun challenge for me. And we then had to embark on a new journey, and we started all different things. We started manufacture, we started import, we started our own retail. And we learnt the hard way what things worked and what things don't. But now we have a retail business, which has become one of the most profitable arms of our business. So um, even though we didn't want to go down that journey, it turned out to be very beneficial, and it was an amazing thing for our studio. So um, then similar situation happened during the pandemic, and we had performance teams, dance teams who were learning dance items and ready to perform, but all of the opportunities started to shut down. So we had kids who learnt items but nowhere to perform them. So all of the Stedfords were cancelled. So we decided that we would take matters into our own hands, and we hired a venue and we set up a COVID safe high tea where people could be sitting down and the parents would get to be fed and watch their students perform. We could control the amount of people in the venue. So our inaugural high tea was born, and we were able to host our own families, and the kids were able to perform their items. And we just were able to build the culture of the studio and have an incredible afternoon together, rather than kids going out to venues that we couldn't control and that were being shut down. We were able to do it in a really successful and safe way. And we've got a new opportunity that's been born through this challenge.
As I'm listening to you, I am reminded how important it can be to surround yourself with positive people, because I feel like I want to follow you. I want to follow you. I want to hear what's going on in your life and how you deal with things, because that's really inspiring, the challenges that you've faced and how you wouldn't choose them, but
No.
then you've ended up with some wonderful advantages and benefits that you created out of that, and you turned them into opportunities. So well done for that. Okay, so is there any, as time to wrap this up, so is there any parting message, anything that you want people to know?
Oh, well, I'm just really excited to hear from the other authors of the book, and I can't wait to see the finished project. And I think that the caliber of the people involved are going to be really inspiring for everyone, and I can't wait to read everyone's stories.
I'm not surprised you leapt at it with the kind of person that you are. You would have seen the opportunity. So how can people connect with you?
Yeah, awesome. So if you go to all the W's and then radianceacademytoowoomba.com, that's where you'll find out information about our dance studio, our vocational training, and our retail. Or you can follow along with our journey of the Women Changing the World book.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sally. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me.